Welcome back to my Week 5 Team Builder for the WCBL. After last week's stunning victory with that nice Technus, the Electros set, we are 3-1 plus 7, which is making it look like we have a pretty good chance of making playoffs this season, since it has been dropped down to 10 players since it's been split into two divisions. But yeah, so this week we are going to go up against Gellz, coach of the LA Infernapes, and once again his team, my opponent's team, is on the right, ordered in kind of threat-based tiering, and what I think is most likely to come. First off, we have that Arcanine. Arcanine is nice with that Intimidate. Weakens my offensive presence a lot, and that is my main attacking. Let's say I mainly attack with physical attacks, but still have a special presence somewhat, but that's not the main reason it is up there. It is because of its coverage with Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, and Crunch. In close combat can basically hit everything for super effective, and do massive damage, especially if it's choice banded. Doesn't need to run max speed, but it probably should, to try and force the speed tide with Kieran Black. But if he is not worried about speed tying, or doesn't want to risk it, he can run a much bulkier set, which can easily deal with Kieran Black. So I'm thinking like maybe enough speed to outspeed Crocodile, to get off a close combat. Doesn't even need to be choice banded. Could be like a Life Orb or Expert Belt set with Morning Sun for recovery, or Will-O-Wisp to decrease my offensive presence if he wants to work around Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain. Could do that, but then he will not have the coverage. So it's kind of a mixed bag. If he does run it bulkier, then it will be harder to kill, but won't be doing as much to me. If running offense, then it could go down to its unrecoil, and he could lose his threat early on, like he did in a previous week with that Arcanine. I think it was against Nada, and her Staraptor. Moving on, we have Mega Aerodactyl. I would be completely shocked if he did not bring Mega Aerodactyl, because 1, it outspeeds my entire team. 2, it doesn't even need to run any of that speed because of my speed tiers. My fastest being Crobat. Crobat's not really doing anything to it, so he won't need to speed creep that. It's not like max speed does him any good, because Scarfers that I would use to outspeed it basically outspeed it no matter what. So only thing it really possibly would speed creep is that Delphox, and he would only need 8 points in that, and he could run Adamant with that, so it could be max HP, making it really bulky, as well as a physical threat with Fangs, Stone Edge, Aerial Ace, Crunch, Ice Fang. I think is really all he needs for me. Yeah, I think Stone Edge, Aerial Ace, Crunch, and Ice Fang is all he needs. Technically, I don't think he even needs Aerial Ace. He could run like Thunderfang for Tapu Fini. So yeah, bulky offensive Mega Arrow will be a problem somewhat, and we'll have to watch out for that. Next up, we're kind of getting into mons that can be replaced with the lower tiers, even though Suicune is higher up there in that top 3. it is mainly because it gives him the bulk he needs to survive. It gives him a mon with the ability to phase me with moves such as Roar, or I believe it gets Haze. Like 90% sure it gets Haze to eliminate stat boosts, and it helps wall my Chiron Black, such as the Blastoise did against Nana. It helps wall the Stack Attack, it helps wall the Crocodile, and that bulk is really needed. Could easily run a Calm Mind set to even bulk out me on the specialty side. So yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. Could even run support with like Tailwind, but yeah. I might as well talk about Manaphy while I'm talking about Suicune. Main reason Manaphy isn't up there like Suicune is, even though Bulky Waters can be a problem for me, is mainly because of that bulk and being able to get rid of stat boosts, which I have shown I like to run. Manaphy can't really do that unless it's running running like Heart Swap, or it's not running its Tail Glow. And Manaphy is more of an offensive threat to my team than, so it'd be better run off offensively instead of tanky, and I feel like tanky is better for my team, just because I do have my offensive threats, but if you have a good enough tank such as Suicune, not doing much damage to it, sure, Manaphy can be ran tanky, but once again we'll be losing off on offensive power. And yeah, moving on, we have Clefable. Why I think he would bring Clefable. It is a good check to my Chiron Black. It's useful for my Crocodile in case I bring like a Moxie set with the Unaware ability. It can stop that. It gives him a Cleric with Wish and Heal Bell. Mainly worried about Wish because it will allow his bulky threats such as bulky Mega Aerodactyls and Suicune and Arcanine to heal back up, which is kind of a problem for my team. And yeah, it could also run some kind of gives him a nice rocker, so he doesn't have to bring rocks on Mega Aerodactyl. Rocks are quite useful for my team, like I said previous weeks, and yeah. Instead of possible, and it gives him a good wall to my Mega Heracross. Instead of Clefable, most likely replacement is that Weezing. Why not Weezing is because of Chiron Black's ability allows it to hit it with Earth Power. Weezing could be nice though for setting up Toxic Spikes for my team. Pretty sure it gets Toxic Spikes. Gives him Haze to get rid of stats. Weezing is also a good wall for that Mega Heracross and helps better wall Stack Attack out than Clefable would, which is probably the one upside to it. However, I do have that double Psychic, and Clefable will do a better job of dealing with those mons. And yeah, moving on, we have Shaman. Shaman of these group is probably least likely. It has its own niche and not a per se another mon can't possibly fill that niche. The only reason it would probably be switched out is if he wants to run something like double water to deal with my team. But Shaman is also nice. Natural Cure is quite useful. Seed Flare to lower Spadef could be a problem. Gets Dazzling Gleam, gets Air Slash, gets Earth Power. The main fear for that Shaman is Carbon Black and Mega Heracross and Delphox, but it gets coverage for those and outspeeds all of them except that Delphox, but I think he has pretty decent walls for Delphox, such as that Suicune and Arcanine, so wouldn't have to worry about that. Could easily be a Scarf set to make sure to outspeed all of my mons in case I bring Scarfers, which could be a problem for his team. And yeah, moving on, we have Haxorus. Haxorus and Cobalion are kind of interchangeable, both physical setup sweepers. Why Haxorus is probably more likely to be brought is with that Dragon Dance will be outspeeding my entire team except maybe Scarf Delphox, and will hit like a truck with Outrage. Basically hits everything for a lot. And my Fairy Tapu Fini will get blown back by a Poison Jab, most likely, if I am not running something like Kibia Berry. And yeah. And my other check to it, Stakataka to Dragon, will get blown back by an Earthquake. So a real problem. And Mold Breaker is also nice to be able to spam moves such as Earthquake for the Electros and the Cresselia if he is going for like a choice set, and goes for Choice Scarf into Earthquake. Will not have to worry about the Electros and Cresselia being able to sit in front of that Choice Earthquake. And yeah, why Cobalion over it possibly is fighting is quite nice for Stakataka and Crocodile and the Kangaskhan. Outspeeds basically all of my team except for Crobat. And it also gives him another possible rocker. Could easily be run as a special sweeper with Calm Mind, Focus Blast, but then he would have to risk Focus Blast miss, or he could probably just run Flash Cannon, things that Focus Blast would hit and not. And I guess it would be useful for Crocodile and Stakataka. Yeah, so, and it could possibly give him momentum with Volt Switch and do something that can deal with the mod that it can't deal with. Moving on to the last two, probably not likely to be brought, is that Malouetta, even with its two forms, physical, if it goes for its Pirouette form. I do have great walls for that, such as Cresselia and Gourgeist. And fighting will not be all that useful for it. If it is Psychic, once again, Cresselia can easily wall it. So basically, either form gets easily walled by Cresselia, and I have other ways besides Cresselia to deal with either form. But if it is brought, I will have to watch out for Serene Grace shenanigans. Last but not least is that Rhyperior. Why I don't really think Rhyperior is brought is mainly because I think almost all of my team outspeeds it. And Carbon Black ability negates its Solid Rock ability, which would reduce damage to it. And it has a hard time breaking down even my offensive threats because it is slower than them and they can easily bop them. Even the Delphox can bop it with like a Grass Knot or a Grass. If it is running something like I believe Friendo Berry is the Grass Berry. And yeah. Since I have covered his team, let me get into my team. First off, I am bringing Spectra the Crocodile, Stealing Z, Intimidate, Stealth Rock, Knockoff, Iron Tail, and Earthquake. And wow, for once I am bringing Stealth Rock. Call the police, something has happened. But no, Stealth Rock is really useful for me in this game, chipping down that Mega Aerodactyl and that Arcanine. It will also help reveal if that Clefable is unaware or Magic Guard, and helps break a potential Sashes. Probably just mainly on the Haxorus is the only mon I think would probably run a Sash if he chooses to run a Sash. He might run a Sash because, like I've said before, the last 4 weeks have not brought hazards at all. So, not a surprise. Enough attack to, if the Clefable is max HP, max defense, and it's unaware, if it comes in on the Stealth Rock, Z Iron Tail will have an 81% chance to knock it out. If I were to lower that attack by even 1 or like the 4 to drop it, it will drop to a 75% chance, and I do not want to risk a 83 or a 3-1 chance, even if it's in my favor, to not knock it out. Running enough defense to survive a close combat from Jolly, Life Orb, Cobalion, and I will be able to knock that out with an Earthquake, unless it is something like Shuka. Crocodile is such a great wall for me this game. Helps wall the Mega Aerodactyl with the Intimidate, helps wall that Arcanine with Intimidate if it is not running close combat. And helps check them. Sort of helps wall Haxorus as long as it's not setting up, and sort of helps wall Rhyperior as long as it's not like Mega Horn. Ice Punch is fine, but if it's like Mega Horn, we'll have to watch out for that. And Knockoff is a nice move to help get rid of items such as Life Orb or Choice Bands or Choice Scarfs on like Arcanine, or even getting off those leftovers on his Fatmon such as Clefable and Suicune will be nice. Moving on, what to discuss next? Let's go with let's start off with my main sweeper, most likely to break holes in his team is Desiree the Cresselia, Flame Orb, Levitate, Segue Shift, Calm Mind, Moonlight, Psychic. Once again, max HP, max defense. His special attacker is not really doing much to me. Manaphy could do a bit if it is Tail Glow and then like Shadow Ball. But I have ways to deal with that, and I will go into them after this. Psycho Shift, Calm Mind, Moonlight, Psychic. This is really good against his team because he does not have a dark type. And since he doesn't have a dark type, I can easily spam that Psychic. Things that could possibly do damage to me besides that Manaphy is that Aerodactyl is the possible Haxorus, and Arcanine if they are running like Crunch or Night Slash if it is that Haxorus, and I can easily burn them by Psycho Shifting that flame or that burn onto them, and with that burn I will not be able to be toxic by the likes of Suicune or Clefable, which is really nice, and I can set up in their face, I guess, with Calm Minds, unless it's this Suicune is running something such as Roar. And I guess Clefable with Unaware setup isn't really doing much, but it is nice to be able to damage anything else after I take out that Clefable with Cresselia, maybe. And yeah, hopefully can get a sweep going with this Cresselia, which would be nice. Once again, main problem with this is Tail Glow Manaphy, and like I said, I have ways to deal with that. First off, first way of checking Tail Glow Manaphy is this Plasmia Scrobat, Black Sludge, Infiltrator, Haze, Defog, Super Feint, Roost. This time running bulky, enough speed to outspeed Cobalion. Why I am Jolly, and not like some defensive nature, then more putting the EVs into speed. With this way, since its speed is 130, putting in Jolly means I will have to spend less points into speed and will get more bulk out of it. If I put into defense, I would have to spend a whole lot more speed than I would gain up in defensive stats. Enough defense, max HP, because bulk, the rest from 80 in speed, once again, to outspeed the Cobalion, and then with the leftover, the way I split it up was enough defense is so that if Crobat comes in on rocks, I believe it was Life Orb Cobalion. Hold up. Checking my calcs real quick again, because I am not professional. Jolly Life Orb. Stone Edge. Yeah, a Life Orb, Jolly, Cobalion, Stone Edge will not be able to knock out my Crobat, even with rocks up. And that would be nice. If it is Choice Band, it is 75% chance to OHKO. And with the Spadef investment, a timid Manaphy without a attack boosting item will not be able to two-shot my Crobat without rocks up, that is. And this will allow me to outspeed Manaphy and get rid of its +3 special attack, which is nice. And then once again, Manaphy is doing about half with either Ice Beam or Psychic. If it is Ice Beam, I can easily roost that off, which is really nice. He might not run Psychic, mainly because coverage-wise, if it is... This is the main problem with Manaphy. It has 4-move syndrome. If it runs certain moves, then it doesn't have coverage for other mons. probably like I might as well go into my next wall to it to help explain this. So Carbon Black bringing an AV set this week. With this set, Tailglow Manaphy will not be able to two-shot me, even if it is like Z Psychic or Z Shadow Ball or Z Ice Beam. It would need Dazzling Gleam and once again 3-move syndrome if it is Tail Glow, and then it's Surf or Stab. It will have to then choose between like Dazzling Gleam for my Kyurem, Shadow Ball for Cresselia, and something like Ice Beam or Psychic for my Crobat. And yeah, if it is Z Rain Dance, it is super easy to beat, because then it will not get the special attack boost. Probably most likely going to bring Plasmius in on it first, to see what it goes for to boost it. If it is Z Rain Dance, then won't have enough damage output to get rid of my Plasmius, and then I can defog away that speed and then roost up in front of it to stall out the rain and whatnot. If it is Tail Glow, once again, get rid of the Tail Glow and then deal with it with things such as Super Fang. I guess could easily go out then if I know it is not Z Manaphy and I get rid of the special attack, I can easily go out into my wall Prince Aragon Carbon Black to pick it off with Fusion Bolt. Kind of don't want to reveal Carbon Black as my AV for this Manaphy right off the bat, because there is kind of like a lot of pressure on Carbon Black since he is my most damaging mon this time around with Fusion Bolt, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and Iron Head. Once again, enough HP and Spit Def to survive being 2-hit KO by a +3 Timid Manaphy without an attack boosting item. Unless it is running something like Z Dazzling Gleam. Could be a problem. But yeah, enough attack to knock out max HP Mega Aerodactyl with the Fusion Bolt after rocks damage is why I have that remaining 60 in attack. Earth Power should 2-hit KO that Arcanine. Depending on the Weezing set, should 2-hit KO that. Should 2-hit KO the Cobalion. Iron Head should 2-hit KO even max HP, max defense Fable. Ice Beam should be able to 2-hit KO Shaman and Haxorus. Fusion Bolt is at least a 3-hit KO on Suicune, but Suicune is not out damaging me with this Assault Vest, which is nice. Will have to be a little worried about Skullburn though. And yeah, moving on to my kind of defensive mon to check offense, such as Haxorus, because Haxorus can be a real problem with and Cobalion with their setup and offensive striking ability against my team. And that is Dark Danny, my Gourgeist, once again being super, Rocky Helmet, Frisk, Will-O-Wisp, Leech Seed, Synthesis, Foul Play. max HP, max defense, a little insp def. With this set, I can easily beat out any of his offensive threats except that Arcanine by Will-O-Wisping them and taking any one hit, easily taken, being only like 2 shot by them ever after I get the Will-O-Wisp on them. Even after Will-O-Wisp, it like turns into at least 3 hit KOs at best to knock it out. Leech Seed is there for recovery. Rocky Helmet is for getting damage on those physical hitters against me. Synthesis is there for even more recovery since I am not running leftovers. Foul Play. Only real worry about that is Cobalion, since my only way to hit that Cobalion is with Foul Play. It will get an attack boost, but with the bulk and with Will-O-Wisp, no matter what, even at +6, I will be able to 1v1 the Cobalion with this Gourgeist. So don't have to worry about that, and burning an opponent doesn't actually affect the damage of Foul Play, which is really nice. Or at least according to the damage calc. And last but not least, I am bringing Unshling Lady Kangaskhan, Leftovers, Early Bird, Wish, Seismic Toss, Roar, Protect. This time I did make sure that it was a valid set before I recorded this. Once again, max HP to pass those fat wishes. Since this is a more defensive team and less offensive team, Wish is going to be really nice. Protect is nice to scout out moves as well as to make sure that I can receive those wishes on Kangaskhan itself. Seismic Toss is nice for flat out damage. Will not be able to break a sub on max HP Suicune though, but I do have Roar to prevent setup sweepers if they think they can easily come in on my Kangaskhan as I throw up a Wish and don't think I can do anything back since I've only revealed Seismic Toss and Protect yet. And then bam, roar them out as they try and set up and receive the Wish. And yeah, don't specifically remember the spread for this, for the defense and SPDF, but I think it might have been enough defense to take a close combat from. Nah, that doesn't make sense since Crocodile just barely takes the close combat. I think it was mainly to help deal with Aerodactyl and Arcanine since they are problems, and really for that Arcanine since I can't burn it with my Will-O-Wisp on Gourgeist or my Psycho Shift with Cresselia. And yeah, so, and why Early Bird? Because once again, Inner Focus does not mix with Wish, and Scrappy isn't useful since he doesn't have any Ghost types. So might as well run Early Bird in case he tries to somehow put me to sleep. Don't really know how he could do that, but there just in case. And yeah, so game plan going into this game is figure out what kind of sets he is, get things burned, and slowly whittle him down before he can whittle me down. So basically, my prediction for this game is going to be, it's going to be really long. Really, really long game. So tune in for that. If it is not a long recording, that means someone, either I set up with Cresselia and swept in, or somehow he set up with like either Haxorus, Cobalion, or Manaphy and swept. Which is going to be really hard for him. And yeah. So catch you for the battle, which will probably come out right after this. Or maybe tomorrow if I am lazy. Bye-bye.